Today we're going to discuss equivalent ratios. We're going to take some notes on the paper that you picked up. So first of all, we talked about ratios on Monday, and we said that ratios were a comparison of two quantities of something. And then one that we used in class is we compared the number of boys in class to the number of girls in class. And when we talk about equivalent ratios, we talk about ratios that describe the same relationship. So if we have a 2-to-1 ratio of boys to girls, that is also equal to a 4-to-2 ratio. And that's equal to a 6-to-3 ratio. So that means for every girl, there's 2 boys. So if I have 2 girls, then I have 4 boys. And if I have 3 girls, I have 6 boys, and so on and so on and so on. And we can do that. We can keep going just like that. So you can find equivalent ratios by multiplying or dividing. Each quantity in a ratio by the same number. So for example, I can say 2 times 3 is equal to 6, and 1 times 3 is equal to 3. So if I am trying to find a missing number, so let's say I have 20 boys in a class. I know that 2 times 10 is 20, so 1 times 10 would be 10, and there would be 10 girls in the class. So when we're talking about equivalent ratios, we're talking about kind of like making a table and then just finding that multiplier or that divider. We're just going to ignore this piece because that won't be on your notes. I just made a mistake. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's take a look at ratio tables. You can find and organize equivalent ratios in a ratio table. And I don't want you to think this is anything different than what you've already done. So basically, you're making a table just like I did. So the first table that we're going to talk about is actually the one that is on the equal ratios paper. So I want to go over your goal. So your goal here is I can create a table to solve equivalent ratios. So first thing I want you to do is read the problem carefully and label what 2 things are being compared. So then you're going to set up your table with those labels, and then you reread the problem and place the given information into the tables. So, for example, the Himalayan mountains are growing about 12 inches higher every 5 years. If they continue to grow at this rate, how many years will it take them to grow about 60 inches? So there's a key word there, rate. Rate is a type of ratio. And what we're looking at is we're saying they're growing 12 inches every 5 years. So something is happening at a constant rate, a constant ratio. So those are my 2 things that I'm comparing. I'm comparing the inches it's growing to the years it takes. And so I'm going to put that in my table. So I'm going to put in inches and years. And it says 12 inches in 5 years. So in 10 years, we can say it's going to be 24 inches, because all I did was continue down. There's 5 more years, 12 more inches. 5 times 2 is 10, 12 times 2 is 24. So the question is asking us, at this rate, how many years, so we're looking for how many years here, it's going to take them to grow 60 inches. So I can do this a multitude of ways. I can continue in multiples of 12 until I get to 60, or I can decide 12 times something is 60. And then I would just multiply this one times that also. So if you think about it, 12 times 5 is 60. So 5 times 5 is 25. So if it keeps going at the same rate, it's going to take 25 years for the mountains to grow 60 inches. So what you're going to do is your goal here is to create a table with equivalent ratios. So you find the two things that you're comparing, you make your table, and you fill in your table. The cool thing about these, and you guys know it because you've been using tables since you were in kindergarten or first grade, is you can add as many columns to your table as you need. So just because I didn't have 5 rows doesn't mean I can't have 5 rows. I could have done 12, 24, 36, 48, and then 60, and done 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 on my table. And that would have been just as easy to get there. So you're going to finish this practice page. It's not a lot of questions. Do exactly the same. You're going to make a table. What two things are you comparing? And then find a way to make those equal ratios, either by multiplying, by dividing, or just by multiples of in your table.